Hi everyone, Mike the Beast here with a pre-recorded video with my two friends, Chin and Chris, and we're gonna do a quick, not sci-fi movies, our top fives each. Dune coming out this past month gave me the idea to let's talk about some of our favorite sci-fi movies that aren't the big franchise spectacles. So, without any further ado, let's get this party started.
I will say before we dive into this list, the parameters for this were they could not be part of a franchise. So we made the rules. It had to be 2 movies or less, and no TV shows or anything like that. So that's how we came up with this list. So basically, there was 3 movies, no shot.
There was also the year gap, right? If it was a long enough year gap, and we'll get to those few. When we get there, but
I have 2 of those, so you'll see.
And I have 1. So, cool.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Number 5.
So I went this movie called The Island. It's a very, very cool friend. God dang it! A really cool sci-fi movie with Ian McGregor. Takes place in the not so distant future. It's a cool action-packed, kind of suspense thriller. McGregor crushes it.
Nice.
Is this Michael Bay?
See IMDb.
Okay.
It might be. Sorry, this is bad planning on my part. But
no, I wasn't sure. No. It just sounded familiar, so I wasn't sure.
I honestly never even heard of that.
It's a cool, I'll give a quick elevator pitch for it. It's in the future, people sign up for, it's cloning. So in the future, people have money. They find out they have cancer. Some guy needs a lung. There's a clone that's been made for him, and they, take the organs from the clones that are made, and the clones don't know, obviously, what's going on. They believe when they're called, they are going to like a nirvana or an awesome epic place, but they're really being harvested for organs. Family fun for the whole time.
Nice.
And it was Michael Bay, by the way. I just looked it up while we were.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I like the cast, Ian McGregor, Scarlett Johansson. I'm in.
It's top notch right there.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's fun. Definitely a lot of suspense, a lot of thrills and chills. More on the sci-fi than the horror, but there's some crazy moments in there. So that's why I put it at my number 5.
Nice. For me, I put Inception. I remember when this film first came out, it was the biggest hype ever. And I enjoyed it more when South Park made fun of it. But I mean, it's a powerhouse cast. Tom Hardy, Leonardo DiCaprio. Is this also Cillian Murphy was in this?
Oh yeah, Cillian Murphy's in there. You got Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yep.
You got just such an amazing cast in this movie.
Yeah, and I mean it's hard to follow if you don't pay attention through the whole film, but I kind of like that where it's you could just veer away from it and then pick up somewhere completely different, and just you kind of get lost and try to pinpoint. I like movies like that where you kind of have to figure out, okay, what happened. And just the visual effects were super cool. And if you guys haven't seen the behind the scenes of how they did the hotel room scene with it's so the actual moving room.
Yeah.
Very practical. The practical effects killed me in this film, and I loved it. Nice. So it's happy top 5.
Nice pick. I went with iRobot, the Will Smith classic, if you will. I think this movie is just a lot of fun.
Underrated.
Very underrated. And how can I not? We're doing a sci-fi list. I have to include something with robots. I couldn't do Terminator, so we have iRobot. Yeah. Alan Tudyk is Sonny the robot in this. Love it. Yeah. You get an early Shia LaBeouf role. Bridget Moynahan is the other lead in there. It's a great cast. It's very much how much do we trust robots and AI and all that, and it makes it with some nice action scenes, a little bit of humor. It's a fun sci-fi watch with a cautionary tale.
Yeah. So, I mean, it got me when he was putting on his Converse in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's there you go. Lace up the good Converse and then time to fight some robots.
Yeah. Very old school. And I like it. It's a fun sci-fi movie. So that's why I made top 5 for me.
Yeah. I love a whodunit, and this is a fun sci-fi.
Yeah. Yes. It's also like a cop mystery kind of thing. And it's it's a nice twist, which is cool.
Great. How about Chris take us with the our fours start us
Sure
off.
thing. I went with another DiCaprio. I went with Don't Look Up. I This is what 2022, I believe this film came out, right? Or is it
Yeah.
21?
It might even be 21, but yeah.
Because
I
either
think it was
way, like
2022. Actually, it might have been
it's
2023.
Yeah.
Keep going.
whatever way it was, like it
21.
there was that whole year was just lacking for me in cinema. Like I didn't enjoy a lot of films, and this was a powerhouse cast with a great plot. Had some comedic relief, and when it was serious, it was super serious. I mean, again, got Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill, DiCaprio. Just such a huge cast. And early Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy
Right?
Chalamet,
Right.
Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean,
Blanchett. You got a great
yeah,
cast.
great cast. And like, I love the idea of the world is going to end and seeing what people do to react in that like atmosphere. This was a top pick for me.
Solid choice. I went with the 1980s classic The Thing from John Carpenter. Amazing. This is such a good blend of, this is probably like the scariest movie I have on here because there is some, pretty scary moments. We got Kurt Russell in the lead, Arctic base, the sci-fi element, like there's an alien that basically kind of takes over a body kind of thing. You don't know who's an alien, who's not. So it's a very paranoia type movie. And even you don't know, even at the end, like they kind of leave it. It's just, and it was shot very low budget. They definitely lean into like kind of the body horror a little bit in some of the scenes. And for the 80s, like the effects are just nuts. They're just crazy. All practical, which is awesome. But this is a fun, like, all right, who is an alien, who's not, who do you trust? And
it's the early Among Us.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But it's super well done. There is a prequel to this movie that came out in 2011. It's not made by Carpenter or anything like that, but it kind of tells the story of like, if you see the first movie, The Thing, there's an opening shot and it kind of sets that up and everything else. And it's actually a pretty good movie. Some people consider it canon, some don't. I enjoyed it, but The Thing itself is a great movie. So that's why I made my number 4.
Agreed.
It's an awesome horror sci-fi cross genre. Kurt Russell, as you mentioned, and Keith David. Awesome.
Yeah, it's like his first role.
Yeah.
I also really love the remake that they did of it with the actress.
So that's the prequel.
That's the prequel. I thought that was a complete remake. Really,
nope, it tells the story of like right before like that, what leads into The Thing.
Gotcha.
The Thing, on this list is technically a sequel.
Yeah, this was the original, and they made like the prequel of the same name. It's called The Thing. Both good movies. The original is awesome, though.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Chin, why don't you?
Are you going to do your number 4?
I'm going to go with my number 4, and I chose the film Morgan from 2016. A young Anya Taylor-Joy. It is kind of. It's been done in other movies, but for me, this is one that sticks out the most because of the cast. You got Kate Mara, Anya Taylor-Joy, as I mentioned, Toby Jones, and Chris Sullivan, who was in This Is Us and was Taserface, and it was a quick character in Stranger Things. It's kind of the idea of creating another human, kind of still along like the cloning lines, but using science and genealogy and genes and all that fun stuff. But Anya Taylor-Joy, Kate Mara had great chemistry in this, and there's a lot of cool, once again, has a lot of action in there. And this kind of was what Anya Taylor-Joy burst into the scene. Now she's kind of known for her sci-fi, more horror, roles. So I recommend this one if you haven't seen it.
Cool.
And I do love me some Anya Joy Taylor. So, dude, you've seen her in The Menu. She's solid.
She's an amazing actress. I'm excited to see her in the new Furiosa.
That's right. That too. Come soon.
All right, number 3.
All right, now Chin, it's 3.
Here we go. I believe this might be our only repeat, if I'm not mistaken. But
really?
Inception is my number 3.
I'm so honored.
I love this movie. I love Chris Nolan in general. We said it before. The cast is amazing. The visuals blow your mind. It's it's not like a movie you think of when you first hear sci-fi. It might not be one that pops right into your head, but it's literally about people that go inside of other people's minds and dreams, and it is very sci-fi when you think about it. And that is why it gets my vote. It's probably my second favorite Chris Nolan movie.
Ooh, yeah, that's a solid choice.
Yeah,
I respect that.
My first favorite I was gonna pick, but it just barely, like, in my Prestige. I love The Prestige, which also has a hint of sci-fi, but not enough for where I wanted to put it on a sci-fi list.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah,
And
that was my pick.
I went with Alex Garland's Ex Machina. Everyone loves, good Android AI film, especially with how the world's been shaping more and more. And going back to just creating an environment, this one does. Donald Gleason is also in this with Oscar Isaac. He
does some dancing in this, doesn't he?
Oh, there's some dancing in this one. And he goes Oscar Isaac's character's cool remote mansion where he's built the Ex Machina character.
It's,
and
Alicia Vikander, right?
Yes, it is. Yes. And it's just this movie, Oscar Isaac, as he's good at, a lot of his roles, you never really have a good feeling about him. He plays that, just something about that guy. And the interaction between Donald Gleason and Vikander, and this movie is, some may say a slow start, but it builds and builds and builds to the very end. It gets crazy, and another one I definitely recommend seeing if you guys haven't. Alex Garland, he also did Annihilation as well, so he's really been dancing in that sci-fi world.
Yeah, cool. Annihilation. That's with Natalie Portman, right?
Yep.
Because that was very good.
Yep.
All right, Chris, make us cry with your pick. Why don't you?
Dude, listen, for real. You know what? I had to pick Iron Giant because I needed an animation film in my list, and it's the best sci-fi animated film, right? Jennifer Aniston's voice acting, Vin Diesel,
yeah,
Christopher McDonald,
Shooter McGavin.
It's such a great voice acting cast, and it's. I'm shocked I didn't put this one at my number one, because I really, really wanted to, for a moment. But I think my number one stands out more. But the story is great. If you haven't grown up watching The Iron Giant, then how are you living in this world? It's
early Brad Bird film, one of Pixar greats.
Yeah, there's with a short time we have, I can't say more enough about this film. So we're just going to move on to number 2, I think.
That sounds good to me. Here we go. Number 2. Boom.
All right. So I'm going with The Fly. And this is another one where I don't know the exact gaps, but there was the original 50s Fly movie. And then The Fly did have a sequel. No one really talks about it. Not many people have seen it. But it's just David Cronenberg, brilliant director in the sci-fi horror genre. You got frickin' Ian Goldblum as
Jeff Goldblum.
Oh my God, Ian.
Mike's nervous being in front of a live studio audience. People, it's okay.
Sure. So Jeff Goldblum dominates this role, and a lot of people have seen this. If you haven't, it's great. Not much more to say. Chris down giant go on about The Fly. Practical and back, we got practical effects we were talking about with The Thing, and just awesome.
Solid choice.
Solid choice. So my number 2 might be a little controversial because some might not think it's a sci-fi film. I really think it is because it's you forget it's based in a dystopian future, right? But they're still showing a lot of technology that just they weren't developing up at the time, especially with the mind control simulations and stuff to not have him do the things that he was doing. There's also just it's a weird movie, right? It's a weird movie.
This is Kubrick at his finest.
Yeah, it really is. So if you don't think it's a sci-fi film, I think you should definitely take a look at Clockwork Orange in that mindset and get back to me.
It's one of those. It's very similar to Inception. It could kind of go
Yeah.
either way. But
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't give you crap when you put it on the list. So we were like, all right, cool.
Well, I thought I had a very good reason.
You made a great argument.
You do. You get a great argument. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna toot any of our horns, but we all have solid lists. I enjoy all our lists.
You know what? Round of applause, guys.
Not the easiest watch, but I definitely agree. Great arguments you made for this film.
Yeah, it's a cinema classic.
Yeah.
My number 2, again, yes, it is a prequel to an 80s movie, but it fell in our guidelines, and there was no way I was not putting this movie on the list, because when I think of sci-fi, this is the movie that pops into my head. The only reason it's not number 1 is because there is an original to it. But Blade Runner 2049, Denis Villeneuve, absolutely incredible director. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy the original Blade Runner. But Blade Runner 2049 is the pinnacle of sci-fi for me. Like, this is what you hear the term sci-fi, this is what should pop into your head. Ryan Gosling is incredible as the new lead, along with Harrison Ford back. You got a great supporting cast. You get Jared Leto in there, Ana de Armas. I think Mackenzie Davis is in there. This is what a sci-fi movie should be, and I love it.
Yeah.
And why don't we? Sorry, what?
I would say, if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor, watch the original. You'll really enjoy it. And then, in my opinion, this one is just leagues above it. So.
And why don't we Blade run on to our number 1s?
Oh, look at that transition!
Look at that.
Here we
Segues
go.
are cool.
Number 1.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, you want me to go with it? Sure. I do Ready Player One. Ready Player One. Like, do I have to say more about it? Like, it has everything you need in a sci-fi film. Like, apocalyptic future destroyed, but like they're living within a video game world. It's video games. It's literally video games. And like all the sci-fi references, all the pop cultural references that come within this film, it's well written. If you haven't read the book, I highly suggest you read the book. It also had the same, because I completely forgot about this. It has the same actor who was in Don't Look Up, who played like the Steve Jobs character. He was like the god of this world that he was creating. Mark Rylance, yes. So if you love video games, if you love like pop cultural references, like this is the movie for you. There's not a moment within the year where I don't put it on at least a handful of times.
Nice. If you're a person that likes to find like Easter eggs like me, this movie's incredible. I love Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great movie. Good choice.
One scene, one of my all-time favorite scenes. Didn't know about it going into it and didn't expect it. And
I already know what you're talking about.
Yep, that's all I'll say.
Let's say it's a Kubrick film. We'll leave it at that.
And here's Chin with his number 1.
Oh wow, Mike's killing this. My number 1 is Attack the Block. It's a movie. It came out, I think, 2011, I believe, or right around there. A lot of people haven't seen this movie. It's Joe Cornish, who works with Edgar Wright a lot. It's a very, very early John Boyega. He is the lead. You got Jodie Whittaker from Doctor Who fame in there. Nick Frost is in there. A handful of other great actors. But it's about these aliens that they're not like, I don't say they're not intelligent aliens, but they're kind of like beastly aliens. Touchdown outside of like a London flat kind of thing. And this kind of street gang ends up going up the block, like how they live. And it's fast paced. It's action. It's got a little bit of humor. It's a lot more dramatic than you think it's going to be. This is, I try to watch this movie at least once a year. It's such a fun, it's a good time. Imagine E.T. if he was bad and for like a little bit older audience, if that makes any sense. But it's super fun. If you have not seen it, can't recommend enough. it's not like a low budget film, but it's it's not like a huge blockbuster kind of thing, and I like that. It gives it an awesome appeal, a lot of practical effects in it. John Boyega crushes it. But yeah, that Attack the Block. Do yourself a favor, watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah,
great. And sticking with Aliens, we've arrived to the end. My number one, Arrival, and a very different take on the Alien film. This is also Denis Villeneuve. I remember seeing this in theaters and was just could not. I was at the edge of the seat the whole time. Love the visual designs in this movie, especially with the aliens. Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner crush it. If you haven't seen it, go see it. That's my number one.
This was going to be my number 2, but we allowed Blade Runner in, so I didn't want to put 2 Denis Villeneuve films on there.
But yeah, such an awesome concept, and once again, the acting, directing, the cinematography, phenomenal.
Yeah, amazing film.
Yeah.
And that's our top sci-fi non-franchise movies list. Stay tuned for more fun pre-recorded videos like these. Kept it under 25 minutes. And,
I'm going to say comment down below if you've seen any of these and give us your top 5.
Yeah,
like let's hear it. Let's non-franchise. The only rules can't be more than 2 movies, and if there's some space in there, even better. But let's hear your top 5.
Yeah,
love to hear it. Share your friends. Share with your friends this. Subscribe to the channel if you have it. See you on the next live. Take it easy, guys.
See you guys.